Welcome, bienvenido. Today is vlog 61. My name is Roxana. This is Metamorphosis Rocks, and I apologize for how the video looks because, again, best laid plans. I planned to do this during the day because it was sunny and I have a window right here. And somewhere along the line, it got really, really dark. Like, I mean, ridiculous. I thought there was a storm coming, and it hasn't stopped raining for, I would say, 3 hours, and I had to turn everything off, and it was just a disaster. So I'm trying to work with the light I have here, but my problem is that if I put it too high, I look like, wait, I don't like that one. Let me see if I lower it a little bit. No, I still don't like it. Let me see. No, I'm blind. It's doing some ambient lighting kind of crap, so it's annoying. That's all I can tell you. So you're gonna have to deal with it. I apologize. Anyway, today we're going to talk about health updates. And the reason why I decided that even though I'm still going to vlog, there's going to be topics. Like on Mondays, I'll give you a health update. And on Tuesday, I'll give you whatever. I haven't decided what the list is going to be, but um, every day of the week is going to be a different thing unless we have stories to talk about, in which case at that point I'll go ahead and change it to whatever the story of is going on in the media. And by media, I mean mostly what's trending because I don't watch news. There's a reason I don't watch news, and I'm going to get to that in a second. Now, health can mean several things. It can talk, I mean not only my health, but the healthcare situation. And right now, there is an Alzheimer's Association International Conference going on, and I've been watching a few of those videos as well, so I can update you on that. And I probably leave a link for one of them here so that you can just go ahead and look them up. But as far as my health is concerned, I am not doing very well. I'm not doing horribly. I am kind of like in the middle. I haven't gained any weight. I haven't lost any weight. I haven't gotten any healthier. I am supposed to be training for a 5K that is going to be on September 2nd, and I have not been able to start because of the beautiful weather. So I'm going to have to do something I didn't want to do, which is I'm going to have to start on a treadmill, which, if you've ever talked to anybody that knows anything about running, they will tell you that running on a treadmill is very different than running on solid surface, and that might have an impact on the training. It might have an impact on the results of the race, but I don't have a choice because I need to start running, and I can't run outside. So that takes care of my personal health. As far as Alzheimer's, two interesting things happened this weekend. Number one, I received a link to a message that was once again mentioning that Alzheimer's is kind of like the third diabetes. Um, the link is getting stronger between insulin resistance and Alzheimer's. And of course, what that means to people like me who might inherit this from their parents or whatever is that you need to find out, first of all, if you're insulin resistant, because the actual um, page that I got this from was explaining that about 60% of the population in the United States is insulin resistant, and we don't know, most of us don't know that we are. So I don't know that I'm insulin resistant. I might be. I usually, actually, my sugar usually drops. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But it was a very interesting article. If I find the link, I am going to leave it below as well, because it explains it very well. And basically, what it's trying to say is the impact that your brain, which normally swims in sugar anyway, um, all this, sorry, all this insulin resistance will do to your body, especially your brain. But the funny thing about that is if you decide to follow that nutritional way of living, not only are you going to get rid of Alzheimer's, but there's a lot of other elements that will go with it. So maybe it's just a good thing for your health in general to go ahead and look at that kind of nutrition instead of the nutrition that we have right now, which relies heavily on white carbohydrates and sugar and many fruits. This one goes more towards the protein and vegetables. Now keep in mind, many vegetables are carbohydrates too. People don't think about it that way, but they are. The difference between one and the other is one is, I mean, let's be honest. Would you rather have, do you really think your body would deal better with a vegetable, which is a natural carbohydrate, than with a plate full of pasta, which is something that has been processed? You do the math. The second reason why I'm bringing up Alzheimer's today is because the Alzheimer's Association International Conference was talking, and I have not watched the whole thing. I've only watched the first two um, parts of this particular conference, but they were talking about a research study that was identifying the disparity between white people, more affluent white people, let's put it that way, um, in Alzheimer's versus African American population, Hispanic population, Asian population, etc. Now, in terms of Asians usually have a very low segment of Alzheimer's sufferers and dementia sufferers in general. They, the person that's explaining this study also is explaining that there is no such thing as there's not a lot of studies on dementia. Most of the studies that have been done are on Alzheimer's. And I had a person ask me why you think that is, and the only thing I could think of is because, and this is something that some people don't understand. Dementia is the umbrella. Alzheimer's is one of the versions of dementia that there are, and it happens to be the one that is the highest. Like, I think it's 80% of cases are of dementia are usually Alzheimer's, and the other ones are, there's hundreds. I can't remember if it's 100 or 110 different types of dementia, and they all have like a little bit. Alzheimer's has like 80% of the population, so I think that's why people concentrate on Alzheimer's, and for some reason, and lucky for us in a way, Alzheimer's has become kind of a buzzword right now. So that will hopefully lead to more people donating and more people helping out to discover what the heck causes Alzheimer's. And in the process of discovering what causes Alzheimer's, hopefully we get some sort of inkling into what causes other kinds of dementia. That would be awesome. But right now, this particular type of study was talking about the fact that she didn't say it that way, but this is the way I read it. I understood it. I mean, um, if you're poorer, you have less funds, you have less education, you're more liable to get Alzheimer's than if you're rich and white. And that's basically the way she was. She didn't say it that way, but the reality is that when you divide it by races and by economic status, that's basically what it boils down to. Now, I don't agree with her. I happen to know a person that is a very outstanding member of the community, and they have money, and they are white, and they have higher level of education, and she has Alzheimer's. Donald Trump's father, it is my understanding that he died of Alzheimer's. So does that mean that you're not going to get Alzheimer's because you're rich and white? No, that doesn't mean that. But does it explain up to a point why pretty much every Hispanic family I know has at least one member of the family with Alzheimer's? Yeah. And the funny thing is that it doesn't matter if the person in question is highly educated or not, because you have to remember, for the standards of the study, they're talking about Americans, which means they're only probably considering the higher education as in a college, a four-year college here in the US. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but educational systems all over the planet are very different. We all have universities, that is true. But if you look at, I don't know if you've ever actually talked to somebody from a different country, or if you have ever interacted, but the way they establish their education is not necessarily the same. For example, there are other countries, Hispanic countries, that call their high school a BA. And so it is very, I remember I went to Spain when I was, I think it was 15. and they were talking about the fact that they were taking their BA, and I was like, BA, you're 15 just like me, and they're like, yeah, and as they explained the whole educational system to me, I realized that they were talking about high school, but they call it BA. So I don't know how it actually works because I haven't actually paid that much attention. And if you know, please explain to me in the bottom. But to me, up to a point, when they talk about higher education, they only concentrate about American college education because that way they can establish a parallel. They're not trying to be discriminatory or anything like that. I just think they're trying to establish some sort of parallel that is equal to everybody. And we have Hispanics that have gone to college in the US, so that doesn't mean anything. We've also have people that have graduated from college in their countries, and then when they come to this country, their bachelor's degree or whatever their education is doesn't count, so they have to go and do it all over again. So that could be it. I don't know. I think they're just trying to put some sort of basis, and for them, the basis is American college education. But it doesn't matter because the bottom line is this. I'm Hispanic, as you know, and I have noticed that we have an overwhelming number of people suffering from Alzheimer's. I mean, right now, my loved one is in a memory care facility, and I want to say out of the 40 or 50 people I know, at least 10 are Hispanic, at least. And when you consider that there are a couple of Asian people, there's African Americans, there's white, there's all kinds of people. I'm separating them by if I separate them by race right out of the top of my head, it's either it's really sad when you think about it because I believe the statistic is that 2/3 are women, and in my loved one's memory care, I think there's 2 guys or 3 guys, and there's about 50 patients that I know, that I see on a day-to-day basis, that I can tell you that I know that they have some sort of dementia. And out of the 50, maybe there's 3 guys. Everybody else is female. Uh, 2 of them are younger. And by younger, I mean my age, or around between 50 and 60. And most of them, almost all of them are women. And 10 of them are Hispanic. I can guarantee you there's 10 that are Hispanic. What does that say about, and the link that they were trying to make, and they're trying to make study deeper into the possible relation between one thing and the other. I'm not sure that they're doing the comparison based on diet. They might think that people that have less money use more processed foods. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far into the study to know what they're talking about, but I can tell you that off of the first glance, I can see where they're going, and I sort of agree with them up to a point. But as political correctness goes, I can just see people complaining that they're discriminating, because for some reason now, if you mention race, automatically people get all upset. So hopefully they will not let that dissuade them from continuing the study and trying to figure out what's going on. Those are the two biggest things I found about Alzheimer's this week. Now, as you guys know, I am fundraising for the Walk to End Alzheimer's, and I am going to leave the link below. And I'm also fundraising because I want to establish a website, a presence, a foundation. I don't even know what to call it because I don't know how far I'm going to get on this, but I want to establish a resource. That's the word I want. I want to establish a resource where people can go, caregivers specifically, because caregivers have their own set of challenges, and I want them to be able to go to one place instead of having to go around looking for all kinds of resources and get all the information and the help they need to take care of their family members while taking care of themselves. And I am going to leave the link for that here as well. Now, I believe I've already mentioned this, but the way I'm working on it is 10% of whatever I get in donations is going to go directly to the Alzheimer's Walk. The other 90% is going to be distributed as of right now. 10% is going to go to cover the expenses, including my time. Taking it's either 10 or 20. I think it's 10. I'm not sure, but it's going to go to pay my expenses and whatever resources I spend. And then the rest of it is going to go, because what the biggest thing I want to do with that particular resource is have grant money for people that are struggling to take care of their family members. And it could be $50, it could be $100, it could be $1,000, doesn't matter. The bottom line is we need to help these people, because many of us are going bankrupt trying to help our family members, and that's not right. We are, and I realize that right now we're not being taken care of the way we should be taken care of. There's talk about new healthcare gutting basically Medicaid and Medicare, and that leaves millions of people with Alzheimer's and dementia in a bind, because many of them don't have the resources to deal with this right now. So I am going to look, and more importantly, many of us who live in states where we don't get any help if the person is living with us, those people need help. So that's where I'm going to leave it today. Hopefully you found this information um, relevant to you, and I would love to hear what you think. And again, if you know anything about the educational system in other places other than the United States, please leave your comment below. Thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful day.